If Donald Trump becomes the first former president to be indicted, the Secret Service assigned to all former chief executives would be with him every step of the way. That would include his booking and his arraignment, minimizing public access, protecting him while posting bail. Joining me now to discuss this unprecedented situation, possible situation, is Jeh Johnson, former head of Homeland Security, which of course includes the Secret Service, and who was also a federal prosecutor in Lower Manhattan in the late 1980s. So, Jay, it's good to see you. Describe how complicated and unusual the logistics would be to have the Secret Service adequately protect the former president of the United States as he goes through the arrest procedure, if he were to, in Lower Manhattan.
Well, first, Andrea, as a New Yorker sitting here in the borough of Manhattan, I have to defend the Manhattan DA's office. Kevin McCarthy wants to denigrate it as just one prosecutor in one borough. The Manhattan DA's office, as you know, is probably the most visible district attorney's office in the nation. The office was once occupied by Thomas Dewey, Robert Morgenthau, who was DA for decades, and Cyrus Vance. So this is an important job, obviously. In answer to your question, what is occurring right now, I am sure, is a five-party discussion involving Donald Trump's personal lawyers, the Manhattan DA's office, the United States Secret Service, the court officers that protect the security of 100 Center Street, and the NYPD. This is, in modern history, perhaps all of history, unprecedented to have a former president protected by the Secret Service submit himself for arraignment processing. The nearest precedent I can think of was 50 years ago when Spiro Agnew showed up in federal court in Baltimore, Maryland, to plead nolo contendere to a charge of tax evasion. His sentence was suspended, and he resigned from the office of vice president at that very moment, protected by the Secret Service. Coincidentally, it was this law firm, Paul Weiss, that represented Spiro Agnew in 1973. But the delicacy here and the challenge for the Secret Service is their job is to take care of the physical security of the protectee. They are not part of their mission to help the protectee avoid political embarrassment. And the Secret Service is first and foremost a federal law enforcement agency bound to defend the law, promote the law, enforce the law. And so I hope and expect that DHS leadership, Secret Service leadership, is reminding members of Donald Trump's personal detail that they are law enforcement officers as well as there to protect the physical security of the protectee.
Now, it would be in their remit to protect him from exposure to the public, certainly to bring him in a back way, to do those kinds of things. But how do you protect him as he goes through the court? If he has to appear at an arraignment, for instance, do they bring in magnetometers? Do they change what would normally be done? Although, of course, the court building is very heavily protected and handles, the worst criminals in the world down there. That's where they have terrorism trials.
100 Center Street, which is a state court, is heavily populated. It's where they hear criminal cases in state court in New York County here. I believe, I don't recall offhand whether there are already magnetometers there, but this, I'm sure, is a discussion that is going on right now between the Secret Service, the court officers, and the NYPD. The NYPD is probably in the lead in this discussion.
We also have the Capitol Police, we understand, gearing up. And that is potentially because they don't know anything, but because the former president called for protests. And the last time he did that was before January 6th. So it's understandable that, just protectively, that they would be gearing up here in D.C. as well. The other piece of this
Andrew,
is...
if I could say something on that. What I found notable and distressing and revealing is in the statement that Donald Trump issued on Saturday. Nowhere do you see the word peacefully around the word protest. His defense, if he has one, to January 6th, is that somewhere in that long rant on January 6th, he used the word peacefully. Nowhere do you see that in the Saturday statement, which is, in my view, alarming and concerning. I have a lot of confidence in the NYPD. They know how to do this. They do this for the UN General Assembly every year, as you know, and they do this for other high-profile criminal defendants who have to surrender themselves at 100 Center Street downtown.
Now, as well, you were a prosecutor in Lower Manhattan in the late 1980s. You were working under, coincidentally or interestingly, Rudy Giuliani. He was the very high-profile U.S. attorney.
Giuliani.
Yes.
Yes, 1988.
So, do you think the Trump team misstepped in supporting Robert Costello's decision? He's an attorney for Rudy Giuliani right now in other matters, to give testimony on Monday. Was it too soon to tell?
That's a good question. It's obviously an attempt to throw sand in the gears, a last-minute attempt to create some doubt in the mind of grand jurors sitting and hearing this case. As was noted earlier in the program, the standard for indictment is probable cause. It's not beyond a reasonable doubt. But plainly, this is an effort to attack the credibility of Michael Cohen, and we'll see where it goes.
Jeh Johnson, you have remarkable experience in so many ways. So thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you.